Chargers run zone at the league's second highest rate, 78%. Mark Andrews averages only 1.58 yards per route run against zone. That's not great. So he's probably about 70% better against zone than Mark Andrews is. He's averaging 2.56 yards per route run against zone coverage. And again, the Chargers giving up the 8th most receptions per game to tight ends. Just to review the picks so far in the week, we went with Trey McBride, the best bet. We have done very well with those in November. I think last week was Khalil Shakir. I think the week before that was Josh Down. I know we've hit 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row. D-Hop, we lost that by, 7 damn yards. I thought he would catch 5 balls and score. He caught 5 balls and he scored. Still didn't win it. Big Mike comes through, 54.5. That was pretty easy. Brian Robinson got hurt, so we got pinched there. Could have hit it, but by the way the Cowboys played, maybe not. A.J. Brown, that was a winner, of course. Bucky Irvin won first. Tyreek, come on, man. 63.5 and 2 throws for over 300. It's terrible. That was terrible. Not as terrible as James Conner, though. That was the grossest loss of the year right there. That was the worst loss of the year on this program. We have made 164 selections. James Conner was the worst one. My man we're measuring his production per carry with a ruler, okay? This guy couldn't do a damn thing on the ground. I'm venting now, in case you didn't notice. And then Dalton Schultz, we got pinched there as well. We lost that by 7 damn yards because Kate Stover had to show up. But we did win that Theo Johnson. Yay! To go 5-5. But let's move onward and upward here, and let's go 2-0 tonight because we've got a couple of picks and a Monday night special. Before we get into that, I will go with a lean here. And I could lean on a lot of different plays here because these numbers, they're all really good and they're all really close. I'm still laughing about Rashod White. I took his under and I nailed it by a half a yard, by 1.5 feet. Rashod Bateman, though, I like this as a play. I'm not going to officially make it. Maybe I should. He does well against zone in general. He is still playing a lot, and that's, there's a lot of things you need to look into. Route share is important, and he was at 86% last week, so he remained well ahead of Deontay Johnson. I don't even know why they traded for Deontay Johnson. Maybe someone who owns a team was up against him in a dynasty league, and they were like, I'll trade for him and bench him. I don't know. I know that didn't happen. I'm just kidding. But T. Higgins exploded in this matchup last week for 9 grabs for $148 and a tutty. And Bateman, again, does pretty well against zone, 224 yards per route run against it. That's not too shabby. And it should be a little bit of a back-and-forth affair. Now, look, they got a lot of receivers here. This is a super spreader offense, and both of them are, really. It's just spreading that production around to like 17 dudes. That was another thing that really bothered me this past week. Like, do we have to throw to 10 receivers, guys, every week in this league? Do we have to? You have no continuity. You have no staples. Most of you coaches are out there just trying to find some sneaky matchup or trying to look like a genius and all that. Meanwhile, your players don't have good chemistry and continuity and things like that. Maybe I'm old school, but I remember when we only had 2 or 3 receivers on the field. We only had 3 wideouts on the field, like a third of the time, if that. And now we're at like 85% of the time. But that's neither here nor there. I'll call it a lean. Rashod Bateman over 37.5. So we are up to 2 official picks, and we'll make them here. And again, these are close. These are bigger numbers. Will Dissly, we'll start with him, as the grinder Tom Brawley was just discussing. 42.5. It's not a small number, but certainly the matchup dictates it a little bit here. They're not going to have Hayden Hurst. That helps. The Ravens are allowing the 4th most receiving yards per game and the third most receptions per game to tight ends. It's been a thing. They're getting a little bit better here, but we have won many, many props recommending tight ends against the Baltimore Ravens. And, again, they are getting better, though. I don't look at the whole season. I look at the immediate, last 4 weeks. And in that span, they are seeing 8.5 targets, tight ends are, against the Ravens. Pretty good. 5.5 grabs for 50 yards. So they're keeping guys in front of them, but they've given up a couple of tutties. When you look at the fantasy points per game given up, 13.5, still pretty good. Hopefully, and Ladd McConkey, by the way, does have a shoulder injury. And Will Dissly is getting 5.5 targets a game. He's catching 4 of them, like Will Dissly. Let's move on to the next one here that I'll go with. It's Isaiah Likely. I'm going to go with a catch prop here. You just never know with some of these props. But I'm going to go with 2.5 catches because he is Mr. Zone Buster. That's been his deal. And Mark Andrews is not as good against zone. The Chargers run zone at the league's second highest rate, 78%. Mark Andrews averages only 1.58 yards per route run against zone. That's not great. They also do actually give up the 8th most receptions to tight ends, which is why I'm going with the likely one. But, of course, it could be Mandrews. Not like he's a bum or anything like that, but likely averages significantly better. I mean, it's not twice as good, but it's almost. He's probably about 70% better against zone than Mark Andrews is. He's averaging 2.56 yards per route run against zone coverage is likely. And again, the Chargers giving up the 8th most receptions per game to tight ends. My luck likely, catches 3 balls for 12 yards or 18 yards or something, and we don't hit the prop. So I'm going to go with that catch total number and the fact that it's zone coverage and just hope and pray that we can get 2.5 grabs for Isaiah Likely. Now, we're going to pop out a Monday night special in a moment. I did make a play on this guy for his individual yardage prop, but I'm not going to do that here. Instead, I'm going to go bump it up, an alternative receiving total, and hope that this guy hits on a big play or two and hope that we get a big payday. It's a plus 300. The Monday night special for week number 12 is Quentin Johnston over 80 receiving yards. Look at that number. That's a plus 310. And Quentin Johnston has kind of made a living on busted plays this year, which bodes pretty well. The Ravens allow the most receiving yards per game to outside receivers. George Pickens came 1 yard shy of this number last week. He should see a lot of Brandon Stevens, who gets roasted. He gets picked on. So it's a calculated risk here for a big reward. Quentin Johnston, 90 yards or more, plus 310. You, in fact, are welcome. We'll catch you mañana here on Prop Points.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now, absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.